So this video is going to be about how you can make $100,000 on YouTube with AI. And the reason that I know this is because I make much more than $100,000 even a month on YouTube with AI. I make several $100,000 per month. So you can see this is just like, what you can make in a day here, where I've made in a day. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because this is just AdSense and I make like 5 to 10 times more than I make with AdSense on YouTube. So let's talk about exactly how you can do this. And by the way, I wasn't always like this. There was a time where I was struggling, working like 80 hours a week on YouTube and only making a couple $100 a day. And you can see this video, for instance, Stock Market for Beginners free course. This took me at least 100 hours of work to make. It was an hour and a half completely free course. And it pretty much bombed. It only got about 13,000 views. Whereas this video right here hardly took me any time at all. It probably took me maybe an hour total worth of work. And this video earned over $100,000 easily. So let's talk about how you can make $100,000, sometimes with an even like just one video using AI with YouTube. So first of all, guys, video ideas. Method one would be use Claude. Now we're going to go over Claude. Claude is a phenomenal tool. I'm going to go ahead and drag it over here. So this is Claude, guys. It's a really phenomenal tool. Highly recommended. It does cost $20 a month, but this is basically your one-stop shop for everything that you need on YouTube that takes you a lot of time. So we're going to go over exactly how to use this here in a moment. But yeah, you can use Claude to come up with unique video ideas. You can also apply AI to refine and tweak ideas for maximum engagement. And then you can automate the process by letting AI suggest relevant trending topics. So let's go over exactly how to do this with Claude. So this is an example of a competitor's video that I typed into Claude. It's top 11 companies always hiring work from home jobs worldwide. This is a video that did extremely well. And then I asked it to come up with 10 title suggestions that would be likely to go viral, but also are SEO friendly, targeting important keywords such as work from home jobs. And it came up with these 10 suggestions. Now, I like doing this because if you just ask it to come up with one suggestion, it could be a little bit hit or miss, but there's at least 5 really good suggestions here. And I think this one is excellent. 15 highest paying work from home jobs you've never heard of. I think this is a really excellent suggestion just from my experience in the niche, having a channel that, is in this niche where we talk about remote jobs and jobs in general, as well as alternative education. I can almost tell that this is going to do well, right? I can pretty much tell. So that's one really good way of coming up with video ideas using Claude. So step one, of course, is to find a video that did really well. You could do that using the icon method. I've outlined exactly how to do that on the channel. And then step two is to suggest 10 different titles that have different sort of angles for different ideas that you can do. So that takes up video ideas. I will admit this is probably Claude's weakest here. I still recommend using the icon method for video ideas. Just because video ideas are so unbelievably important. And I have made entire videos on that, so I highly recommend doing that. Next, let's talk about script writing, because script writing is super important. Now, what I did here is I took that same exact idea that Claude came up with, and I put this prompt in there. So you can just copy this prompt if you want to. Basically saying, make sure you include rare jobs that people usually don't hear about for the first few. Try to find pattern interrupt jobs that are rare, weird, gross, and or shocking. Include the most important details for each job that a job seeker would want to know, and do 20 jobs instead of 15. Now, in this particular case, I told it to make a script outline. There's 2 reasons for this. One, you can actually just use the script outline and you can just talk off the top of your head, right? So a lot of people, that's their preferred way of presenting videos, is they just have a script outline and then they talk off the top of their head. And this comes across a lot more naturally. So you have an outline, so it's not just like a total yap session. You're not just all over the place going crazy, but at the same time, you're not saying things word for word, because that can sound incredibly monotone. Okay, so that's the first way you can use this. The second way you can use this is you create the script outline first, then you modify the outline, you make a few little changes here and there with the outline, and then you go on to the second prompt where you actually have it write the entire script. So that's exactly what I did here. I made the script outline and it came up with really good ones. These were actually incredibly good suggestions. Again, I'm in this niche, so I know what suggestions are good and which ones are bad. And these are actually really, really good suggestion. Another thing to note here is I told it to do 20 jobs instead of 15. And the reason for that is because once in a while, it does come up with a suggestion that just doesn't look quite right. And so I'm going to pick my 15 favorite jobs, and I might even do that during the video, right? So the video is going to be called 15 highest paying work from home jobs you've never heard of, but I'm going to just pick, 15 out of the 20 that it suggests, my 15 favorites. This is something I do all the time because once in a while it will suggest one that you don't really like. Even if you had a professional scriptwriter writing it, they'd probably suggest, a few here and there that you don't like. And so this is a way of just overcoming that problem. Just have it do, an extra 25% or, 30%, something like that, right? And then I took these jobs and I told it, based on your previous outline, skip the intro, but make a video script in the style of Mr. Who's the Boss. Only do the first item on the list at first so that I can check the style, and attach as a script from Mr. Who's the Boss for inspiration. So Mr. Who's the Boss is a very popular YouTuber. He has an entire operation, I'm sure he pays them like millions of dollars. So he probably has professional copywriters and professional scriptwriters that make his scripts. So they're very good. And so I used his script as inspiration, which, by the way, you can literally just go to his video. So you just go to his video, you click more, you go to the bottom, you click show transcript. The transcript should pop up on the right, and you can just highlight all of this and then, copy it and then plug it into Claude. And that's exactly what I did here. Now, make sure you say that you're using it as inspiration. That's obviously, because you're just using it as inspiration. You're basically just using the same style. And then it'll create the script. And this is a phenomenal script. I mean, you can pause the video and read it here, but this is with barely any prompting. And it created a really solid script based on this outline that I had, and also using Mr. Who's the Boss as style inspiration. Okay, this is a really good script. You can read this word for word if you have a teleprompter. Another thing you can do here, guys, I kind of showed you how to do that. That's the easiest and simplest method. Of course, you can come up with more complicated methods, but that's going to be based on your niche and your style. This is just a quick, easy method to do it. You could also throw your own script in there. So another thing you can do is, let's say you've already written your own script. It can provide detailed suggestions, including timestamps for where to add edits, effects, or visual elements. So at 15 seconds, insert a GIF of DJ Khaled saying "We the best," for instance, right? So that's another thing you can do on scripts to make them even better. Then when it comes to video recording, what I highly recommend is using the Elgato teleprompter and OBS. So OBS is basically a way of recording directly into your computer. This saves you the step of having to take out the chip, transfer it, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. That's really tedious. And you get to record it directly in your computer. And the great thing is you get to actually check right away if your recording is right, because sometimes you're going to have video problems, you're going to have audio problems, etc. And OBS basically makes that a non-existent factor. And then the Elgato teleprompter is excellent because you can obviously drag your script onto the teleprompter, but what you can also do is it actually acts as a second screen. So just like if you've ever used a second screen on your computer, you can drag anything onto the screen and it's going to look like you're looking directly into the camera while you're reading it off, even though you're actually just looking at what is on your screen, which is incredible. And then another thing you can do with the Elgato teleprompter is you can connect it to a pedal where you can actually have it automatically scroll up and down using the pedal. And so this makes recording videos incredibly easy. Now, this works whether you're using an outline or you're using a full script, right? So it works either way. You can use the Elgato teleprompter either way, and it's an absolute game changer. It makes recording your videos like 100 times easier. So I highly, highly recommend doing this. And that just makes it so much easier. And then another thing you can do is just plan your edits ahead of time with the AI generated script. So you can actually have Claude suggest edits that you can add into the script so that, it flows really easily. Because if you've ever tried to create a script and then add an edit afterwards, it might not work perfectly. But if you know that that edit is going into the script, if Claude, for instance, puts it in brackets, you're going to know that this is the edit that's going to get put into the script. And then you can say it in a certain way so that that edit pops up and it just looks a lot better, right? So those are a couple different ways that it helps with video recording. When it comes to video editing, you can use AI for automated video editing. To be completely honest with you, all the products in the market aren't that good. They can cut out the silences, but the silences between the clips might not look perfect. And that can actually really affect your watch time. So nothing on the market is really good for like automatic video editing. You cannot replace a good video editor at this point. But Claude can assist editors by giving precise directions and ideas. So what the editor can do is they can get a transcript of your video after they've done the basic editing. They get a transcript of your video, which there's lots of AIs out there that do that. Literally just type in AI video transcript, and you'll find like 50 of them that do that. And then you plug it into Claude, and then you tell it to suggest exact suggestions for how you can make the video better. So here's an example. I plugged that same script in, and I just asked, please provide 10 video editing suggestions that would enhance the video and make it more engaging, educational, and entertaining. Make sure you specify the exact parts and give specific actionable examples of video editing suggestions that can be easily seen and implemented. And it gives exact suggestions with the timestamps, right? So this can give your video editors ideas of the types of edits they can put in to make the video more engaging, to make it more entertaining, to make it more palatable, right? To make it more, to really drive certain points in. Now, another thing you can do is efficient recording. So record videos in a way that minimize the need for editing. If you are using a teleprompter, you're probably going to be making way less mistakes, like the Elgato teleprompter, because you either have the outline on the screen or you have the exact scripts. You're going to be making way less mistakes, especially when you get good at using the pedal. You can pretty much almost do the entire thing without pausing a single time, almost like a news anchor, right? So this makes the process smoother without relying on AI, which makes it much easier for your video editors to edit the video. And then outsourcing, of course, this isn't AI, but you can always just, hire somebody to do the video editing while still using AI prompts to speed up their process, because it definitely helps. And title and thumbnail creation. Let's talk about how to use AI for this. So you can use AI tools for generating video titles. I already showed you how to do that. AI can also help you to brainstorm and design engaging thumbnails. And a really good way to do that is to find a channel where you like their thumbnails. You think their thumbnails are really good. I'm using Graham Stephan in this example. And then you literally just take a screenshot of their thumbnails, and then you do this prompt. So attached are 12 thumbnails for a popular YouTuber in the make money niche that makes great thumbnails. I'm making a video called 15 highest paid work from home jobs you've never heard of. Based on these thumbnails, can you come up with 5 thumbnail concepts with specific instructions where you explain in detail how you recommend to me for making the thumbnail? And it'll literally come up with specific instructions on different thumbnails, and it'll tell you exactly what it recommends based on the thumbnails that you provided, using their style or using them as inspiration. And these are really good suggestions. Now, again, I have it do 5 of these because sometimes it doesn't have the best suggestion. So, but I guarantee you, if you do 5 or 10 of them, at least one of them is going to be a really, really good suggestion. And then you can either send that to somebody to make the thumbnail, or you can just make it yourself. And then AI assisted tweaks to improve both titles and thumbnails for maximum click-through rate. What you can do is you can just plug your thumbnail in that you made, and you can ask it for feedback on the thumbnail, what it would do in order to make it better, right? And it'll give you, feedback, and it'll give you suggestions to make the thumbnail better. And a lot of the time, the suggestions are excellent. 6, descriptions and timestamps. This one's pretty easy. AI can write SEO optimized video descriptions that still feel natural. So it basically integrates keywords into your video description that still feel natural, like you're not just keyword stuffing. And that will eventually get you more views from search, because people will find your content through search. And you can just say, I want this description to be SEO optimized, but read like a normal sentence, right? And that's a great way to do that. And it's, description is something that's not super important, but if you're using AI and somebody, especially if somebody else is doing it for you, you might as well, right? Because it does help a little bit. And then also AI for timestamps. There's certain types of videos where timestamps work really well. And so you can use AI like Claude to generate SEO friendly timestamps that don't give away the content of the video. So this, this is really important. So they're SEO friendly because the timestamps actually do end up ranking your video on Google as well as YouTube. They help with that. But they also don't give away the content of the video, because this is something that a lot of people make mistakes with, is they'll put their timestamps, but they'll actually give away what it is. And then people will just look at the timestamps and they don't watch the video. So you want to make SEO friendly timestamps that don't give away the content of the video, and they act kind of like a little bit of a teaser to keep the person watching, right? But they satisfy the person to where, if they're not interested in, let's just say this video, for instance, they're not interested in, descriptions, they can skip that part, right? So instead of labeling the timestamps as workout tips, use phrases like the number one thing to do every day for maximum results, right? So make it kind of a little bit of a teaser that gets people to actually want to watch the section. And then script writing, of course, I kind of went over this, but man, this is really where Claude is just an absolute heavyweight. Claude is absolutely goated when it comes to script writing, guys. Unbelievable. It can suggest ways to optimize your profile picture, banner, and overall channel branding. That's one thing it can do for sure. AI can help you pick the right keywords for your profile, and it can help do CTAs for you in your script, and also hooks. So one thing I didn't do was intros. And I didn't do that on purpose because I think you should do the intro separately from doing everything else, right? So you should write the script separately from your intro, because the intro is really something that has to be, you really want to work on it. So you don't want to like have it write the script and the intro at the same time. And what I highly recommend for a small channel is you use this for intros, okay? So you start off with some type of hook, okay? That's number one. You start off with a hook. Number two, show proof right away. This could be proof that you can do whatever you're saying you're doing, or it could be social proof, proof that you are known as an expert. Example of social proof would be hanging out with someone who is really good at that thing, or showing how many subscribers you have. An example of proof would be showing that you like make money if you're saying that you're making money. And then three, a bit of an overview of what they're going to learn. Overview plus value proposition. So overview plus value proposition. So you plug this into Claude. You say, this is what I want for the intro. I want a hook. This is usually like maybe like a curiosity inducing question. Claude's actually pretty good at these. Curiosity inducing question. Sometimes you might want to plug in some information to Claude, like who your target audience is, what problems they have, that kind of thing. And then that'll be your hook. Then you go right into proof. Then you do an overview plus a value proposition, like a value proposition, what they're going to get out of the video, plus an overview of the video without giving too much away. And you can just plug this into Claude, have it make 10 intros like that. And I guarantee you that you're going to like one of the intros. You might even mix and match some of the stuff that they have in the different parts of the intro. So I found that this works really, really well for doing intros with Claude. This exact framework right here: hook, proof, overview. So that's a really, really good way to use Claude. And script writing is really where Claude is an absolute heavyweight. I can't even describe to you how much time it's saved. And I also can't describe to you how much better it's made my scripts, especially on my main channel. So another thing you can do with Claude, guys, and this is really advanced, but you can use this thing called Claude Projects. Now, this is something where you basically plug in some stuff to the side here. So what I've plugged in here is my philosophy on growing and making money from YouTube, plus my life story and my target demographic. So you can actually have Claude write in anecdotes from your life into the script if you have these documents: life story plus target demographic. And then also you can have it write in your own personal philosophies on growing YouTube. So I have some pretty strong opinions on YouTube as somebody who's been doing it for 15 years. I disagree with much of the mainstream advice. So I have that in here, and that is my philosophy, and I put that in there. Another thing you can do is you can upload your target demographic. So you know, if you have information, data about your target demographic, you can upload that here as well. And this stuff is super, super powerful. And then, using this project, you can make even better scripts. Now, that's a little bit advanced. It's out of the scope of this video, but that is definitely something you should mess around with and do as well. So Claude, guys, is an unbelievable tool for making YouTube videos. I mean, this makes YouTube accessible to people that it wouldn't be accessible for. And this is something that's been an absolute game changer for my students. I've gotten students from zero to making $80,000 a month within 6 months. I've gotten a bunch of students to seven figures, about 16 or 17 students now. I've gotten about 5 students to 8 figures, and Claude is one of the main ways that we do this. I also recently recorded 18 videos in a single day using these methods, right? With the Elgato teleprompter and using Claude. Okay. So, absolute beast. You absolutely need to start using this. I don't know what to tell you if you aren't. And if you want to learn more about doing this, if you want to make it to where it makes even better scripts because you have the perfect prompts and you put in the right amount of information into Claude projects, this is something I've been messing around with for literally like months now, and I've got it refined down to a science. So you can book a call with me down in the description in the pinned comment below, and we can work together.